hi everyone, I'm going to get set up and we're going to have a live study session, okay? So just give me a few minutes. What you can do is you can go into the Google Classroom and go under past papers. Let me see. Go under past papers and you're going to open up the 9990 past paper. All right, I'm going to try this again. Sorry, it's really late here. I know a lot of you guys, it's early in the morning. But I want you to see me. Okay, so if you're here, you can say hi. Okay, so I'm just going to start off by saying thank you so much for following me. I really appreciate all of you guys, and I absolutely love teaching psychology, so thank you. So for the entire year and a half that I've done this, I've given free access to my Google Classroom. So if you have access to it, awesome. There's some amazing resources, and I'm actually going to start putting a lot more past papers in the classroom. I have a plethora of them that I've created and collected over the years, even just the past 3 years. And I know with coronavirus and not having like a normal schedule and normal papers, there's not a lot of resources out there. Okay, and I have all these sitting here, so I'm going to create PDFs and images and put these in the Google Classroom. Okay, so hey everybody, hey guys. So you can send an email to apsychology9990 and you'll get an automated email message back, and that's going to give you some instructions on how to make a one-time payment of $25, and that's going to give you the full access to the Google Classroom. Okay, you can also message me through there privately. Okay, and again, that's just for my time, all the documents that I've created over the years, all the quizzes I've created over the years. And you get this awesome free access to my channel. So if you're doing this alone, I've had some great responses from people all around the world who's just used my videos and they've gotten A's. So it's possible, people, it's possible. Okay, so you're probably going to want to take notes on this, okay? And if you're not prepared to take notes, that's okay. Watch it again. How you join the Google Classroom. Okay, if you, in the description of this video right now is, it's a link basically to PayPal me /intuitioncc/$25. It's basically just 25, and that is a $25 donation, and then the email address that is linked to your PayPal account will get an automatic invite to the Google Classroom. Okay, so you can do that. If that was too much for you, just email apsychology9990@gmail.com, and you will get an automated email sent to you with everything that I just said. And the link will be in there, and you can just like put it up in the bar, in the search bar, and it'll send you right there. Okay. Okay, so how I'm going to start this. All right, this is paper 1. We're working on paper 1, and the most important thing that you need to learn in paper 1 is to not overwrite. Okay, you want to write all factual psychology information. And one thing in the syllabus, which this syllabus is in the Google Classroom, but it's free anywhere. If you just I think if you just Google the 9990, you'll get this right here, glossary of commands. It's in the Google Classroom too. Okay, so I'm just going to go down this list and I'm going to tell you the types of words that I'm talking about when I say the word command words. Okay, so this is just how a question is going to start in paper one. Okay, so it could say name this, or it could say state, or suggest, give, outline, describe, explain. We have define, and then we get in the bigger questions like evaluate, discuss, identify, design. Okay, those are all the 10-point questions. But basically, if you can understand these command words, then you're going to know what's expected of you in your answer. Okay, so here's an example. So if you have a question that says state, so if it says state one aim from the study by Dement and Kleitman, okay, the word states means to give a concise answer with little or no supporting arguments required. Okay, so when you say state one aim, that's probably going to be a 1-point question. Okay, anything that says name or state is going to be 1 point. So if you're giving one valid point or one statement from the aim, that's going to get you 1 point. Okay, you're not going to outline anything, you're not going to go into detail. All right. Let's go down to outline and describe, because in paper one, a majority of the questions are going to be outline, describe, and explain. All right, and then when you get to the larger evaluation questions at the end, the 10-point questions, that's when you have to focus on like the evaluation question. Okay, so let's go to, what did I say, outline. Okay, so in an outline question, an outline is not going to ever be 1 point. An outline is going to be an even, probably an even number. Okay, outline is describe the key points without detail. Okay, so describe without detail. Does that make sense to anybody? Ugh, that's so difficult. Think about an outline. Okay, so let me look at some of these. I have some questions. All right, so if it says outline 2 aims of a study, that's probably going to be 4 points. So you're going to possibly just talk about, well, 2 aims, but in one answer, you're going to have 2 details. You're going to have the idea, or you're going to have the main idea, and then you're going to have like another supporting detail, but you're not going to have to go into describing anything. Okay, so I really need you guys to have this in front of you for you to be understanding what I'm saying, because otherwise you're just saying, why is she saying all these words? Describe, suggest, outline, explain. Okay, so let's get a past paper. Okay, here we go. 9990, past paper. Let's go through these, okay? I'm not going to be able to put the words up here because it's live, but I'll read you the answers. I'll also give you some time to where if you want to go back and watch this, you can pause in between me giving you the answer, okay? So let's just do it that way. Okay, question 1. State one aim from the study by Dement and Kleitman, sleep and dream study. Okay, state one aim, and this is worth 1 point. Okay, when you state something, you give a concise answer with little or no supporting arguments. Okay, go. Okay, so in Comin, we have 3 aims, and you're just stating one of the aims. You're not going to go into detail. You're not going to describe what the aim was, why they were doing it, any additional information. So here is a couple examples. To investigate the relationship between eye movement and dreaming. Okay, that's a complete answer worth 1 point. Here's another. To see if more dreaming happened during REM sleep than non-REM sleep. Okay, that's a 1 point. Here's another complete answer. To investigate whether there's a link between the length of time in REM sleep and the length of dreaming. That's worth 1 whole point. Here's one more example. To see if there is a relationship between the pattern of REM observed in sleep and the contents of the dream discussed when awake. So you see, I'm just making a statement. I am stating something. I'm not going into any details, okay? Here's the next question. Identify which one of the following statements is not true of Dement and Kleitman's observations of REM, okay? Eye movements are more frequent in dreams about distant objects. So, I mean, I don't even know why I said that one. Okay, whatever. I wasn't reading ahead. That wasn't multiple choice. Okay. All right, here's a 2-point question. And it says explain. So before I go into this, let's explain what explain means. Explain says to give clear reason or make clear of the meaning. Use examples to indicate how and why something is happening, such as a reasoning behind a theory. Okay, so we're going to explain something, all right? And it's going to be worth 2 points. So we're probably going to have to give an answer and then give some detail or description. Explain why this study was carried out. Laney's false memory. All right. So basically, you're going to get 2 points for a complete answer, which again is an answer or a general answer or statement, and then a description. Okay, so here's 2 examples of what you could have used for your answer. To test whether positive false memories could be implanted and whether this could lead to an increase in liking asparagus. Okay, that's one answer for 2 points. Here's another possible answer for 2 points. To find out whether people could be led to believe that they liked asparagus when they were young, and if they made them give a higher rating to a photograph of asparagus. Okay, so these are just general statements. They're explaining why the study was carried out. They are actually telling us why. It's not just giving us one statement. Do the words have to be the exact for the aim? No, they don't have to be the exact. You just have to have the general idea of what the experimenter was trying to convey, what they were aiming to do. Okay, the aims are not the same as the hypotheses. Okay, they're linked, but the aim is what we want to see happen, and a hypothesis is a way of taking that aim and making it testable. Okay, let's go to the next one. This is 3B, so we're still on Laney. Okay, this question begins with the word describe. Describe says, give details of, explain the main feature of. Describe what the participants were told about the purpose of the study before it began. Okay, we're talking about Laney. So since we are describing, you're going to get 1 point for each piece of information that you describe. Okay, so this is 2 points. They're looking for 2 different pieces of information. So here's some answers. What tasks they would be doing. So example, filling out questionnaires, doing tests on the food preference. Okay, so that's one answer. That's what they were told the purpose of the study or what they were doing. And then, so that's only 1 point. to get the other point, that it was a study about relationships between food preference and personality. So we are looking for basically two studies, right? In Laney, we had 2 studies. They're looking for the purpose of each study that was told to the participants. Okay, if that makes sense. Remember that one was there was deception in one and then full disclosure in the other. That's what we were getting at here. Okay. If you are completely lost at why I am talking about these command words, okay, it is because these command words are going to tell you how you have to answer the questions. All right, if a question says state and you answer it like a question that says explain, you're going to overwrite, you're going to waste your time. All right, let's move on to the next one. All right, so we're still on Laney. Here we go. Explain. So remember, I said explain. So another way to look at explain is like answering how or why. Okay, that's easier to think of. When you see the word explain, try to answer with like how or why. Give clear reasoning or meaning behind something. Okay, so this is a 3-point question, everyone. Explain why the participants were not told that the study was about false memories when they arrived at the laboratory. Okay, so we already know, like, you don't even need to know this study to know this answer. It's going to have something to do with demand characteristics. It can have something to do with authentic behavior, okay? Influencing. Okay, so explain. Let's see. So I'm going to go ahead and say that since it's explain, you can give 3 different explanations, 3 different small explanations to give this, because it doesn't, there's, in the study, it's general to research methods. It's not particular to the study per se. Okay, so here's some possible answers. So for identifying the potential influencers of demand characteristics, so we talked about that. For outlining, defining what demand characteristics are, for stating how this may affect the behavior of the participants. Okay. Oh, excuse me, talking so much. So that's where your answer has to go. So let me tell you some possible answers. So it was used to avoid demand characteristics. That will give you 1 point. This is when some features of a study informs the participants about the real purpose of the study, because the participants' memories could be affected by knowing the aim. Therefore, this influences the participants' behavior during the study, independent of any experimental manipulation. So basically, in this explain answer, we are giving the answer of demand characteristics. Then we are giving 2 supporting details. Okay? Oh, I almost forgot. You guys, okay, there is a really simple way to answer a lot of these questions that are more than 2 points. Okay, if you have 2, 3, 4, 10 points, use PEE. Okay, make the point, explain it, and give an example in every single question. Okay, if you don't understand the question, go back to PEE. Give the point, the answer, the definition, whatever it's asking, explain what that means, and then give an example from the text. Okay, no joke. If you have no idea what you're doing, pee all over your paper. All right, that is going to get you points. I know, I hear some of you saying, why are we even going through this then, right? Then don't go through this. Don't go through all of this. Just pee all over your paper. P meaning the answer is the point, The first E is the explanation, and the last E is the example from the text, okay? That's what I'm talking about. Let's go to another question, okay? The study of Baer and Comin, the eyes test, used adult participants, although similar studies have used children. Describe one methodological problem that could arise if children participants were used in the study. Okay, so one problem with the methodology. It said one methodological problem. Don't give an ethics problem. Okay, we're not talking about ethics. It's specifically like it is outlined in black. I don't know, can you see it? Is it in there? I don't know. It's like underlined and it's in black, bold. Okay, one methodological problem. All right, and we are describing. So here we go. It's worth 2 points. Children might not understand the words. 1 point. So they wouldn't be able to choose words correctly for emotions, even if they had a glossary. Point number 2. Okay, so that was a describing. Another possible answer. So the results would be invalid. 1 point. Because the children might understand the emotions, just not be able to choose the words to describe them. Point 2. Okay, so again, this question was asking us to describe something. So we are giving the point, the statement, it's only worth 2 points. Giving the point of the statement, and then we're giving the example. Okay, if it was a 3-pointer, we would do the statement or the point, we give the example, then we, or explanation, and then we, okay, either or, P-E-E. Point, explain, example. How is everyone? Are you guys still alive? Is it early where you are? Where is everybody? It is 11 p.m. right now, and I'm getting really tired. I'm going to have to do a couple more videos like this. Because I find that there's a lack of information when it comes to you guys using the command words to study. Okay, those command words are going to give you the knowledge to answer any question. Okay, I mean, for paper 1, you should be studying all the methodology, all the design of the study. Is it a lab, a field? What's the methods? What's the design? What's the sample? You're going to need to know all of those. You're going to need to know the how many people are in the study. Yes, you're going to need to know that there was 1,445 people in Pillivan. Right now, I'm sorry, I don't even know if that's the exact number, but it's pretty close. But if you do get a number that's that close, only a couple numbers off, they're going to give it to you. Okay, but if it's a study where there's 700 participants and you say 65, they're not going to give it to you. Okay, just saying that now. Okay, so here's a 4-point question. Let's go into a 4-point question with the word explain. Okay, explain 2 ways in which the learning approach is different from the social approach. Use the study by Bandura as an example of the learning approach. Okay. So this is a 4-point, and you need to explain. Okay, so you need to provide a point, and then you can explain it, and then provide some examples. Okay, 2 examples, 1 explanation, and 1 quick answer. That should give you your 4 points. All right, let's look at some possible answers. Okay. Actually, let's break it down this way. I'm sorry. I mean, I haven't really viewed these yet, but so it's asking you for 2 ways in which the learning approach is different from the social approach. And it's 4-point question. So why don't you just give 1 statement about the learning approach, and then like an example from the text or an explanation, and then give one statement about the social approach and then one example or one explanation. That should give you your 4 points, okay? And that's explaining it. So let me go through some of the answers and see how close I was. The learning approach focuses on the acquisition of behaviors. For example, in Bandura et al., the acquisition or specific aggressive responses, which is 1 point. Whereas the social approach focuses on behaviors that are the product of the social situation. Okay, that's going to be 2 points. The learning approach typically uses rigorous laboratory experiments. For example, in Bandura, a controlled experiment with adult models showed pre-decided behaviors and being observed through a one-way mirror. Whereas social approach often studies behaviors in context, observes social situations, uses field studies. All right. So they did take a different approach to it, but I'm telling you now, if you take the approach that I said, where you are precise and that you are talking about the learning approach with the Bandura study, like they asked, giving an explanation or example, and then you talk about social approach, give an explanation or example, all right? So for every fact that you put in your answer, for every points that you put in your answer, okay, you are going to get a point for it. But you still have to follow the rules in the question, okay? If it says explain, don't just give statements. If it says describe, don't outline. If it says outline, you're wasting your time describing, okay? You are wasting your time. Complete waste of your time. And one piece of advice, in case you don't watch this video all the way through, or in case I end this soon, whichever happens first, start with the biggest question on the paper. Immediately, you should go to the 10-point question, okay? Any evaluation question, 10-point question, you should start with that, okay? It was advised to me to teach my students to do that by those who taught me how to teach Cambridge psychology, okay? I'm telling you this. The reason they do this is because over the years, they've found that students overwriting, they're writing way too much in the beginning of the papers. Okay, when they create a study, a lot of the 2- and 4-point questions are in the front, okay, and the 10 points are in the back, just like normal tests, kind of they gradual way in, all right? But what's happening is students are taking too much time in the 2- and the 4-point questions, and they're overwriting. So then when they get to that 10-point question, they don't have enough time to complete it fully, okay? If you can stop and you can give yourself time to do that 10-point question, that's 10 points that's five other questions. That's 5 other questions, okay? 2-point questions should be short and sweet and simple, okay? Don't elaborate on them. Another point of advice that I would say is for however many points, try to write that many sentences, okay? If you're lost, if you're completely lost, and you say it's a 4-point question and you can only come up with 3 things, try to come up with one other fact, one other explanation, link it somehow to a study, create a fact in there that the graders of this test cannot refute, that they can say, well, they technically are correct about this, okay? Because if it's correct according to psychology and it fits a description and you answer what they asked you to do, then you get the points for it. Okay, remember, they don't take points away. They just add points over time. Okay. There's some like quick tips in there. I think I should just make a video of like really quick tips on how to answer, right? I know everyone's like, yeah, hello. Where'd you go? All right. This is going to be a quick video. It's not going to be too lengthy, okay? I'm going to go a little bit more in depth in this. I'm going to get a little bit more organized. I'm going to put this, the grave method is to answer the evaluation questions, okay? That's generalizability, reliability, application, validity, and ethics, GRAVE. You will need that mostly for the evaluation question on paper 1. the very last one, where it will ask you to evaluate a study for its, maybe you have to evaluate an entire study, or maybe you have to evaluate cognitive theory or psychological theory. You would talk about the generalizability of it. You would talk about the reliability of it. You would talk about the application of it. How do you use that in society? You would talk about the validity, whether it's ecological validity or internal validity, and then you talk about the ethics. Okay, so anytime you're evaluating a study, you want to hit all those points. GRAVE. Generalizability, reliability, application, validity, ecology. No. Generalizability, it's generalizability. G. R is reliability. A is application. V is validity. And E is ethics. Okay, so ecological validity falls under regular validity because there's two types. There's internal validity and external validity. Internal validity has to do with the controls of a study. External validity has to do with your environment of the study. While I'm here, got ask questions. Ask questions, right? How many? There's only 2 of you on here, though. All right. All right, let's just talk about this, okay? So you're going to have an evaluation question this day. Okay, you're going to have an evaluation question that will be worth about 8 points, okay? GRABE. That's 5, so it could possibly be worth 10. There are some evaluation questions that are worth 10. Some are worth 8. Okay, so here is one, for example. It says, discuss at least 2 strengths and 2 weaknesses of the Pillivan Subway Samaritan study. Okay, so if that has good generalizability, well, it's Pillivan. Let's talk about it. It had like 4,450 participants, black and white. I'm going to say for the time, it had good generalizability. Okay, so there's one strength. Reliability. Reliability is the ability for the study to be done over. Did it have a lot of data? Did it have a lot of standardized procedures? And the answer is no to that because it was a field experiment. So when we talk about reliability in that sense, we're going to talk about it as a weakness. Okay. This is how you're going to get the points though. Okay. So you're going to say that reliability is a weakness. Boom. You're going to get your point. You can say what reliability is, and then or why it's a weakness, and then you're going to give an example from the text. Okay, you're going to tell me what the numbers are in the generalizability. Okay, that there was 65% white and 45% black, maybe something like that. I can't remember right now. And then you're going to tell me why that is generalizable or not generalizable to society. That's going to give you another point. Okay, applicable. Why is this information applicable? Why is bystander effect applicable to society? How can we use this in society? Can we even use this in society? All right, if we can, tell me how, and then relate it to the study. What did the study do to help us figure this out? All right, you can talk about either ethics, you can talk about the ecological validity. This was a field experiment and it was in a subway and these people were naturally going to where they were every single day. So in that sense, there was a lot of ecological validity. Was there a lot of internal validity? No. Internal validity, wasn't a lot of structures, not a lot of controls. So internal validity would have been a weakness. All right. Let me read some of these comments. Could you please cover year 13 content? Oh, AS level 3. I have not, I mean, I've studied abnormality in health. I have not studied the exactly what needs to be taught. So I can say that that's definitely in the future. I just don't have that content prepared, unfortunately. But I have the books and I have, I mean, all the ability to. It's just my time, guys. It's just my time. Okay, that's hard. It's really hard for me, which is why I'm doing this at 11 p.m. right now, where all my kids are sleeping. Okay, I'm kidding. All right, now there is an evaluation question I'm just going to go over. This is a 10-point question. So the last one was an 8-point question and said to discuss. Okay, just go back. What does discuss mean again? Discuss. Discuss says to give the important arguments for and against. All right, that's just discuss. Give important arguments for and against. Okay, you want to try to get at least 8 of those because there were 8 points. This last one for paper 1, okay, is a 10-point evaluation question. It says evaluate the study by Schachter and Singer, two-factor theory of emotion. All right. So in order to get the full 8 to 10 points, your evaluation needs to be comprehensive. Your answers need to demonstrate evidence of careful planning, organization, and you have to grab the right material from the study to talk about, okay? Here's what I was talking about before with evaluate. So evaluation over here says discuss the importance of or judge the overall worth of or make an attempt to weigh your options. Okay, so when you're evaluating something, you're comparing, contrasting, you're going back and forth with your options. It was good here, but it was not good here. Here's an example. Here's some examples, okay? Remember, Schachter and Singer. You can say it has good generalizability because the sample was large. It had 184 participants. That'll get you 1 point. But all the participants were male, reducing generalizability as females' emotions may have been different. Okay, so I'm talking about generalizability, but I'm discussing the good and the bad. Compare and contrast, okay, in that area. And that's going to get me 2 points, all right? That's what you need. Let's see. We used a stooge to manipulate psychological components, happy or angry. We used questionnaires to create emotional arousal and adrenaline to create physical arousal. All right. These are, when you're evaluating, you're making more statements. When you're discussing something, this is when you can use grave. All right. But I believe you can also use grave to talk about the generalizability and all that. Grave can be used in almost in a lot of these. Anytime we're talking about generalizability or reliability or application or ethics, okay? One thing you do have to pay close attention to on paper 1 that I will tell you, the questions. You need to go through the questions, underline, highlight, circle, okay? If it says design, make sure you're talking about the designs, okay? Individual repeated methods match pairs. If it's talking about methods, make sure you talk about the methods. Methods means lab experiment, field experiment, okay? Don't confuse the two. That is like the #1 confused answer on this test. Is if someone says a design, someone puts that it's a lab experiment. That is not the right answer, okay? Goodness. What else? I don't know. I'm losing my train of thought. I'm drinking coffee, but I'm probably going to go to bed soon. Does anybody have any other questions for me right now that I can help you with? Any questions at all? Otherwise, you're going to probably stop watching unless there's some really cool questions that I can help answer. Otherwise, I'm probably going to head to bed and organize some things so I can talk to you guys a little bit more in an organized way. Okay. Okay, well, thank you all for staying with me on here. And again, you can just email apsychology9990@gmail.com. You'll get an automated email that will tell you how to get access to the Google Classroom. Okay, so thanks for those of you who were here with me today, tonight, this morning. I don't even know, whatever day. My anniversary is on 2/2. So if it's 2/2 where you are, then happy anniversary to me. Otherwise, I still have another hour. But it'll be a great day. And I know a lot of you really need the help and the practice. So go in the Google Classroom. I just started a new section called Past Papers. Go in there and start. Just try. Just use the book. Doesn't matter. Use the command words. Practice creating your answers the correct way. Okay? Oh, one more piece of advice. If anyone's timing themselves, this is what you can do. Give yourself 1.5 minutes per point. Okay, so if you're doing, a 60-point test, give yourself an hour and a half to do it. Okay, if you're just practicing a 10-point question, give yourself 15 minutes to do it. Okay, and then slowly back that up a little bit. So where eventually that you're doing a 10-point question in 10 minutes. Okay, a 2-point question in 2 minutes. Okay, it's not that difficult to do, but you need to train yourself because we need to be working fast. Okay, we only have so much time. Okay, thank you so much. Message me a psychology to get into the Google Classroom so you guys can, start working and preparing yourself for your exams. And if you have any other questions, write it below in the comments. Okay, thank you and have a good night.